Somewhere around 10,000 years ago, maybe earlier, a very confused human ancestor found a pile of old fruit, ate it anyway because food was food, and then spent the rest of the afternoon giggling at a rock. Congratulations, humanity. You just discovered alcohol, and you did it completely by accident. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Humans didn't invent alcohol. Nature invented it first, and we just showed up at the right time with the right appetite for questionable decisions. Wild yeast is everywhere. It floats around in the air like an uninvited party guest, and the second it lands on sugary fruit sitting on the ground, it starts eating that sugar and burping out alcohol as a waste product. Yes, alcohol is yeast poop, chemically speaking, and humanity's oldest party trick is drinking the exhaust fumes of a fungus. So picture it. Some early hominid, hungry, unbothered by expiration dates because expiration dates hadn't been invented yet, finds a stash of overripe, fermenting fruit under a tree, eats it, and suddenly the world gets a little softer around the edges, the saber-toothed cat outside seems slightly less terrifying, and walking in a straight line becomes an Olympic event. Scientists actually have a name for this. It's called the Drunken Monkey Hypothesis, which is a real, published, peer-reviewed idea, and yes, it is exactly what it sounds like. The theory suggests our primate ancestors evolved a taste for alcohol because fermenting fruit signaled ripe, calorie-dense food, and the ones who could handle a little buzz and still function were the ones who survived to pass on their genes. Which means, technically, your ability to enjoy a drink today is an evolutionary inheritance from ancestors who were extremely fine with eating slightly rotten fruit and vibing. Once humans figured out this wasn't a one-time miracle, but something you could actually make happen on purpose, things escalated fast. Archaeologists have found pottery in China dating back roughly 9,000 years with residue from a fermented drink made of rice, honey, and fruit. That is not a small detail. That means people were brewing alcohol before they had the wheel, before they had writing, before most of the world had agriculture figured out. Humanity's priorities have been extremely clear since day one. And it wasn't just China. Ancient Egyptians were brewing beer so seriously that workers building the pyramids were reportedly paid partly in beer rations. Let that sink in. Some of the most impressive architecture in human history was built by people who were, at least partially, running on a beer per diem. The Sumerians had an actual goddess of beer named Ninkasi, and they wrote her a hymn that also happens to double as one of the oldest known beer recipes in human history. Worship and brewing instructions, all in one convenient tablet. Here's the twist, though. Early alcohol wasn't really about getting hammered. Water back then was frequently unsafe, full of bacteria that could make you seriously sick, while the fermentation process actually helped kill off a lot of that nastiness. So in a very real sense, ancient people often drank beer and wine because it was safer than drinking the water. Getting a little tipsy was less a goal and more a side effect of not dying of dysentery, which, respectfully, is one of history's greatest loopholes. Alcohol also became deeply tied to religion and ritual almost immediately. If something makes you feel lighter, looser, and suddenly convinced you can communicate with the divine, ancient humans were absolutely going to build a ceremony around it. Wine shows up in religious rites across nearly every ancient civilization, from the Greeks worshipping Dionysus, quite literally the god of wine and questionable decision-making, to ritual drinks used in ceremonies from Mesoamerica to ancient India. So the next time you're holding a drink at a party, just remember, you're not doing anything new. You're recreating a 10,000-year-old accident involving airborne fungus, rotten fruit, and an ancestor who took one bite, felt amazing, and thought, we should be doing this on purpose. Humanity discovered one of its favorite pastimes purely because our ancestors were opportunistic, occasionally reckless, and extremely willing to eat things they probably shouldn't have. Honestly, not much has changed.